Welcome back. Happy New Year. We can say that. It's the first show of Instigating with Clarkey and Drury for 2024. Clarkey, I don't care. Look, we're back for the first time. We're back on the airwaves here, and we're very excited. I'm Ryan Drury. That's Clarkey, and we're very pleased to kick off the new year with our good buddy and somebody that we got to break down an awful lot with in Leafland, our friend Jason Brooks, longtime junior hockey coach and executive. Brooksy, how are you, man? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you guys. Doing great and looking forward to chatting some hockey here.
Let's just dig right into it. Obviously, the biggest piece of news, William Nylander, he got his bag. 8 years, full no move, no trade, 11.5 mil a year. We've talked about this guy maybe more than any of the other so-called core four next to Clarkey's favorite player, Fancy Pants there. But this guy's gotten a lot of criticism over the last couple of years. But in recent times, you know, he's probably been their best playoff performer. And this year, as we record this, he's third in NHL scoring. What was your reaction to this deal, Brooksy?
As a Leaf fan, I was wishing they would have got it done for 9 and 9.5 earlier on in the summer than 11.5. I only say that because, again, you're in a situation where you've got that core 4 or 5 or whatever you want to call it, sitting at, you know, roughly, what are they at, Clarkey? Sitting at 80 million.
A lot of money.
Right. So at the end of the day, I mean, good for them for getting him signed. I think he has been a very good piece this year, you know, as you stated, Ryan, but it just leaves a lot of questions in my mind. You know, what are they going to do moving forward? You know, what are they going to do with Mitch Marner, who's up in a year? You know, does he think he's Austin Matthews territory still? I think it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, especially when they open the ball like they did for William. It's very intriguing.
Clarkey, what were your initial thoughts on it? I'm sure that you had all kinds of emotions swirling around.
Yeah, I'm with Brooksy, where I wish it was done earlier. But you know what? Willie bet on himself and his dad and his agent, and he performed. And he has been a good playoff performer, which they need, unlike Mitch Marner. And it's going to be an interesting year and a half here as we get into when Mitch can sign as of July 1st, he can do an extension. Are they going to dig their heels in with Mitch Marner? Is he the guy that they're going to say, you know what, we need that number 1D and we're not going to re-sign Mitch Marner and we'll let him walk. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Tavares as well. If he comes back, he's got to take the home team discount. He has to. He has indicated he wants to retire or leave. Okay, then, you know.
But why should he? Why should he, Clarkey?
100%.
Why should he take a discount now?
He's going to either take a discount, Ryan, or he's not going to be a Toronto Maple Leaf. One or the other.
Well, we keep saying that about all these guys, and they're all still Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, he's a contract ahead of these guys, though. He's made his due. He is made, you know, like he's what, 30? What will he be when his contract's up? 32, 33?
33 heading into 34.
Right. So he's made his money. And all I'm saying is they can't afford to keep them all at where they're at now. They can't. There's no way. There was no way they can do it. So we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting. But I like Willie. He's a good player. I know you compare him to other guys around the league, and you say he's making too much, but it is what it is. The Leafs have made their own bed. Now they're trying to sleep in it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I guess what I'll say about it is just that I'm just confused as to how they're going to, much like what Brooksy said, how they're going to do this moving forward, because all we've ever seen them do is capitulate and cave to these star players and give them literally whatever they want. Don't love it. Like, if there was anybody, because the complaints with Mitch and Austin's contracts were that they were too short. They weren't taking the 8 years. If there was one of the guys, because Nylander's 2 years older than some of those guys, if there was a guy that you wanted to take the 5 or 6 year deal, it was Nylander. He's going to be 36 when this deal expires. That 11.5 will not look good. And he has a no move clause. You can't send him anywhere unless he says, yes. I don't know what it is. The Toronto Maple Leafs throughout their history over the last 30 years have had a no move clause disease, and it continues. I think he's playing incredibly well. He's had a hot 38, 39 games. He's played pretty well the last 2 playoff years. I know the cap's going to go up. I understand that. Call me old school. I look at other guys' numbers around the leagues when all these guys signed their deals, including John Tavares. And I looked and went, how can that guy justify making that much money when this guy that's way better than them makes less? I said it when Marner signed and made more than Kucherov. That's insane to me, and looks insane to me this year with Kucherov doing what he's doing. I'll say it with Willie, where I can't believe he makes more than guys like Aho. I can't believe he's up there making slightly more than Pasternak. I understand that the next guys take the bigger chunks. It's just wild to me that this guy is making this much money and their decor is still not good. And so I'm just very confused as to how they're going to make that better over the next couple years, because the cap will go up. Projections have it around 90 plus million in 2-3 seasons. But the reality is the cap is what it is now. So that's 2 or 3 more years where they're going to have a very top heavy roster, assuming Marner stays. I don't know, Brooksy. Let's talk a bit about how they're playing right now. After some up and downs to end off 2023, they're right back playing great. They've beaten up on some bad teams, sure, but they're getting the job done at least. What's your impression of how they're playing?
I'm mixed on how they're playing still, Ryan. Maybe they beat up there on San Jose and they did well on that Western swing, which was really encouraging. But what have they lost to the bottom teams? Chicago, Columbus. I think before Christmas, it was like 9 games they had lost 6 of them or something like that. Like, I'm still not sure. And I think it still comes back to what you're talking about with the defense and the goaltending and being top heavy and the depth and everything else. What is this team? What style are they going to play? Are they ever going to buy into the simple play, or are they always going to have to make it the home run play? Are they built for playoffs? Are they going to be successful in the playoffs built the way they are? I just think there's too many question marks about them, and I know I sat here on your show when Babcock got fired and they brought in Sheldon Keefe, and I kind of questioned it at the time. And I mean, Sheldon Keefe has done nothing but win in the regular season. He's been a very good coach for them in the regular season. I just wonder if he can change the narrative. Yeah, they won a round of playoffs against Tampa, but he got out-coached by Paul Maurice. The team got out-gridded by Florida. How many times have we said that in the last number of years of Sheldon Keefe coaching? Montreal, Columbus, right? Like, the list goes on. So
is it his style? Is it his style? Is it the way he's trying to teach these guys? Is it the guys not buying into his system? What do you think it is with him?
I think it's a combination.
Okay.
I think it's a combination. Like, the players that they have, like Matthews, Marner, Nylander, like, they're high-end skill, which we know. Play a lot of risk-reward hockey. They're not a structured team. Like, again, look at your Stanley Cup champions over the last 3-4 years. They're built big and strong in the back end. They play dump and chase hockey. They can play finesse if they have to, but they grind it out. They pound it out. Like, look what Vegas did. They just physically dominated teams with their size and strength and still had skill to boot. Toronto's not built like that, right? How are you going to get out of the Eastern Conference to even have a chance at that if you don't play that style a little bit, right? And again, you listen to the talk shows of different shows, and I listen to them, and I tend to agree. Like, you can't flip a switch. You just can't change it and say, yeah, we're going to play like this. We're going to look after the puck. We're going to make good puck decisions. We're going to be defense first and responsible. That's not how they play. And are they entertaining to watch? Sure, they're entertaining. They're very skilled and are fun to watch as a fan from that perspective. But I don't see them winning because of it.
Does Corey Perry help this team?
Yeah, 100% he'd help this team in the sense of grit and leadership and,
Mm-hmm.
put
Be
the
interesting to
past
see where
behind
he
them of whatever
signs.
happened. But right,
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, somebody like that would help them. He
Yeah.
definitely fill out some depth for them.
Yeah.
Where he fits, though, I don't know.
Yeah. He's the guy I always liked. He was one of my favorite non-Leafs for a long time, and I've always wanted him on the Leafs, but hey, you never know. Maybe it'll happen now.
No, that's fair.
What I'll say about him quickly is that, and we've touched on this before, when the whole controversy around him first emerged while he was still a member of the Chicago Blackhawks. Like, the one thing I'll say is everybody that plays with him seems to like him as a teammate, and all these teams would not continue to sign him
No.
if he didn't have a good reputation, right? Like, yeah, he's bounced around the league, but he's been to a couple cup finals here. He has won a cup in his career. Like, he wouldn't keep landing places, especially at his age, if he didn't have a good reputation within the room among a bunch of guys. Like, you're not bringing a guy like that in. But I think that even for the Leafs to be fishing around a guy like that is kind of endemic of the problem here, is that, like, they're so cap crunched, they're so top heavy with these big four, and then you throw Riley in there, whose contract actually looks pretty friendly right now, the way he's been playing this year. You could argue at times he's been their most consistent player next to Nylander this year. I guess when I look at it, I'm really trying not to be negative because I like Nylander and he scores a lot of points. It's just that it's one of those things where I think he probably does deserve the money. It's just, does he deserve it on the Leafs the way they're built right now? And everyone's going, oh, the cap's going to go up. The cap, that's not going to be significantly up enough for the next couple years. So that's 2 more years, assuming they continue to fail in the playoffs, which I 100% believe they will, because they've given me zero indication ever for 8 years that they won't. So assuming that pushes you 2 more years down the road. And if they keep Marner too, I sit there and I look at this and I go, yeah, it's great to have all these high-flying players at big price tags. It's just that what I would equate this to is living in Alaska and buying a Ferrari. And Alaska, in this metaphor, is the salary cap. The salary cap is a reality. Do all these guys deserve money? Probably more money. Yes. Connor McDavid should probably be making $25 million a year. But the NHL, unfortunately, has this triple hard salary cap. It's a reality for everybody. So it's great that you bought a new Ferrari and you're keeping this Ferrari around, but can you drive it given the environment that you're in? That's what I mean by the metaphor. And Marner's the next one. They got this Rolls Royce over here, Mitch Marner. Can you continue to keep it around based on the environment you live in? I don't know. And all they've done is fail. They've done nothing but fail. They fell flat on their face every single year. A lot of times, Brooksy, you brought it up, against teams they should have swept. They should have swept the Montreal Canadiens. I don't care how good Carey Price was. They should have swept the Blue Jackets. They should have beat Tampa in 4 or 5, and a tired Tampa Bay team pushed them to 6 because their goaltender was awful, continues to be awful. I don't know, man. Clarkey, I'm really not. You got your nice new jersey on. You obviously had a good Christmas. I want you to enjoy wearing that jersey. I just look at this, man, and I'm like, God, I just don't know if this was the right move, because I still don't like their back end. Brooksy, let's talk about their back end, though, in some positive terms here. Like, Simon Benoit has shown up and played really, really well. Even Lagesson, when he was in, Giordano comes back. Like, there is some positive stories to be found here. But again, it's not big, significant pieces because they can't afford to bring big, significant pieces in. But those guys have filled in admirably, yes?
Oh, 100%. 100%. They've been very good. And I mean, I'm going to get my years mixed up. Last year, the year prior to that, they had some injuries on the back end. I think Riley was out for quite a few games last year. And they had names come up and do the same thing. Play simple, solid, move the puck. They don't try to be somebody they're not. That Simon Benoit, has been a great find, 100%. Lagesson was a good find. They're good depth pieces that give them depth moving forward. They don't have to necessarily add those depth pieces come playoff time. They're going to need to add better, but they serve a role. They do their job. They don't try to do something they're not meant to do, and they've been real effective for them.
Before we let you go, I'd love to get your take on what's happened with Ilya Samsonov. Of course, they waived him. He clears waivers. He's sent down to the Marlies. He seems to not be even with the team for a week. He practices one day with the Marlies and then is recalled to the Leafs. What do you think is happening here?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
It's a weird one.
Yeah, as a hockey guy, I feel for him in the sense the wheels have fallen off. He's hit rock bottom. You can't trade a guy like this, right? You put him on waivers and you're expecting him to go to the minors to clear because nobody's going to touch this. Like he's a bomb ready to go off. The downer for the Leafs, honestly, though, they don't have the depth in the net. They're biding time right now for Joseph Woll to get back. They'll ride Woll and they'll ride Martin Jones, right? They'll ride those two guys. They'll try to build Samsonov back up slowly, I'm going to guess, and see if they can get any little bit for him, if they can, right? Because he's on a 1-year deal, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it expires. Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's Toronto. It's money out the door. Like, it is what it is. But, it is too bad because, I mean, I know you and I, Ryan, were texting and the wheels have fallen off his bus hard. Like, he is at rock bottom.
Yeah, well, what's interesting, and again, here I come with the negativity.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it again.
Listen, no, well, look, this guy burned me as a Caps fan, like a 15th overall pick, had all the talent in the world. I'd argue that the wheels were never on. The wheels were never on. Like, he had a pretty okay year last year. I'd even give you that he had a great year statistically. Okay. When you look at it, it was pretty good. You know who else had pretty good years and fizzled out and never regained it? Almost every goalie we've ever seen come through the league, other than a couple really elite guys. Andrew Hammond, the Hamburglar, had a good year. Jose Theodore had a good year.
But Ryan, with the case of Samsonov, you go back to the summer for arbitration, and because of that pretty good year, he thought he was valued at X, and the Leafs said no. Million. Right, and the Leafs said no chance. We're going to come in at whatever they came in at. Arbitrator decides on what was a 4.5,
3.5, yeah,
3.5, which might be again way too much. But for all the moves that have been made by Treliving and before him Dubas, that might have been the greatest move Brad Treliving has made this year by not signing him long term, by sitting on him saying, "Prove it to me that you can be consistent," which he hasn't. Hopefully they can find that solution in Joseph Woll if he's the guy, or somebody else down the line. But they need somebody short term, right? That's going to do the job. And is Martin Jones the guy?
Well, they're certainly happy they have him.
He's been playing amazing. There's a positive story too. He's been incredible. He went to a cup final, like a couple of years in San Jose, like he was legit boy. He's playing really well. It's an incredible story. Yeah, I feel for Samsonov too. I wish it had worked out. I wish he was still a Washington Capital, winning 35 games a year. That's what I thought. I once called him the best goalie outside of the NHL, and I meant it. And it has not worked out. I firmly believe he'll be in Russia within 2 years, and it's sad. But anyway, Brooksy, it's great to have you on. When you're at the Guelph Storm game next time, just come into the booth, man. Like, you don't have to avoid me like the plague. You can come in the booth. You're allowed up there. You're a VIP, okay?
Well, once upon a time I was allowed up there. Now I'm not sure they know who I am anymore, which is maybe a good thing. So I'll definitely come up to say hi to you. I apologize for not doing that. It was nice to be back in the building. It was nice to watch them play, and hopefully George and then Chad and the rest of the team have a great second half.
I think so too, man. Well, yeah, definitely come visit next time you're around. Thanks for doing this, Brooksy.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, we'll be right back. Clarkey and I will continue our chat about the Leafs and, of course, lots of other news in the Toronto sports world. We'll be touching on that next here on Instigating. Welcome back to Instigating with Clarkey and Drury. Ryan Drury still with you here. We'll get Clarkey back on to wrap up chat about what's going on in the Toronto sports scene, but we're also going to touch on that right now. We're very pleased to be welcoming on someone that I interviewed on an old show of mine in Clarkey's, and I'm very pleased to have her on the show this week to open up 2024. And who better to talk to about the wave of success that the PWHL has enjoyed in its opening weeks here? Sportsnet's very own Kristina Rutherford. Kristina, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing well. And like I said, I'm very excited to have you on because the PWHL is doing very well. It's incredible. We finally got a true connected pro women's hockey league. There's not a bunch of the drama that was involved with some of the old setups that were involved. We've got a truly cohesive unit here. And boy, have they ever hit the ground running, or more aptly, the ice skating. It has been an incredible first couple weeks here of the PWHL. You were at the Toronto home opener. Tell us what that atmosphere was like, because it looked incredible at the Mattamy Ice Center.
Yeah, no, it absolutely was. I mean, it was not only Toronto's home opener, it was the league's home opener, inaugural opener, I should say, first ever game. It was great. I mean, I walked into the rink. I was right behind Jana Hefford. She was signing autographs for, the same guys you'd see outside Leaf games. The crowd was amazing, like lined up down the block. I would say the big issue was there was really only one entry door, and people were kind of waiting to get in for a while. So, but as soon as they started funneling in, that place seats about 2,700, and everybody was amped, lots of kids with signs. And they did a wonderful job sort of introducing the team. The lights were going, the cameras were going. Even from a media standpoint, I've covered a lot of women's hockey over the years. I've never really sat down and had like both teams line up sitting in front of me, or my name on a chair, or coffee or food. It just felt so professional on every level that I don't think that personally I've never seen in the women's game. And then, as you said, to have the best in the world all together in one league, and little kids in the crowd, and knowing that you can play professional women's hockey and make a living out of it. And just to see that for the first time, it was pretty incredible.
And the game itself was great as well. Obviously, Toronto fans on that opening night wish it went a little differently, but they've got a lot of talent, and the 6 teams are loaded with the very best players from around the world. And that's a unique aspect here too. It's not just about some of the players that we're obviously familiar with Team Canada. Of course, Sarah Nurse, the centerpiece very much so of the Toronto franchise, which must be very cool for her being from the area and everything. But there are players from all over the world that are on these teams, and that's huge. We talk about the impact here in Canada and the United States. It's going to be very impactful as well, though, in Finland and Sweden and Russia and Czechia. Like, this truly is a very global league.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's either 12 or 13 different countries represented here, which is amazing. And what I love too is you can graduate from college, step right into this league. So you think of how many women were at the top of their game, graduating college, really didn't have somewhere to play where they could make a decent living. I mean, the PHF did exist and was paying players really well, but it was just sort of limited. And now it just seems so much more wide open that way, where you're getting these women that step out of college and, top scorers on their teams and stepping right into the PWHL, like number 1 draft pick Taylor Heisey. Last night she scored 2 goals, and you look at the first one and you're like, oh, that's the nicest goal of the season. And then a period later, you're like, no, that's the nicest goal of the season. So you're seeing so much of that, and it's just the potential of all these players, I think, can finally be reached coming out of college. And then you've got a player from France in the league, and you wonder what that's doing for hockey in that country, and for players in Japan, for players all over, really, to see that there's this best on best league finally in North America. So it's absolutely huge.
Kristina, you mentioned obviously Taylor Heisey, and she's somebody who's really going to be a centerpiece and is in a unique position in a way, with the league literally being brand new and her being the first overall pick. She is definitely going to carry a lot of the weight of the reputation of this league on her shoulders. I mean, I would equate her in a sense, if you will, to, the Guy Lafleurs of the world back when the draft first became a thing in the NHL. She is of that ilk in terms of carrying that type of reputation. And you mentioned the goals she scored in Minnesota's game against Toronto the other night. That second goal she scored, the first one was really nice. The second one was disgusting. Like, that's going to be on every single Sports Center year-end highlight reel at the end of 2024. I mean, that goal was absolutely nasty. She's an interesting character in the lifeblood of this league, is she not?
No, absolutely. Yeah, that second goal, like stick handling inside of a phone booth, it was just unfair. Like, it really was. But she is, I mean, you look at that draft, you've never seen anything like that in sports. You had 36-year-olds being drafted. You had kids right out of college from all over the world. It was just, I mean, they had an initial period where each team could select 3 top players. So you had most of the biggest stars signed to teams already, but then you just threw all of the best women in the world in this big pot and kind of shook it up. And it was always going to be Taylor Heise, number one. And the fact that she's from Minnesota, went to the University of Minnesota, just won the Patty Kazmaier, and then Minnesota wins the right for the first overall pick. It was like a no-brainer that she's going there. And she's such a good advocate for this league, and she's so well-spoken, and she has such a good just knowledge base of what players before her have been through to get to this point. I think in large part because she's played with the Hillary Knights and the Kendall Coyne Schofields, who have done so much of the advocacy for this league and fought for this league for so long. So she understands how fortunate she is to step out of college into this league. And she also understands that it's part of her role to help grow this league, which she's doing on the ice tremendously, just to show other girls where they can play in the future.
You bring up Kendall Coyne Schofield, who, of course, opened a lot of people's eyes to how serious the skill level in this game is at the All-Star game a couple years ago, where she blew away a lot of NHL players in terms of the speed she had. And, of course, Hillary Knight, who is a legend, Sarah Nurse. You talk about newer school players like Ella Shelton and Lauren Gable. It's really interesting to have that veteran guard of players that we've known about for a long time, like Knight and Schofield and Nurse, involved in this league, because they're kind of the crossover generation where they were the ones on the backs of Wickenheiser and Cassie Campbell-Pascal and all of those players before them, fighting to make this a reality. And now they're part of a veteran core of players that are going to see this league develop, which is such an interesting thing for them. And it must be incredibly overwhelming and really gratifying for that group of players.
Yeah, absolutely. That hit home for me. I was talking to Sarah Nurse at Toronto's practice facility, and they'd just done an on-ice practice, like a couple hours. They were working out. They'd had lunch there. And she pointed to this kind of small cage that was at ice level, not on the ice. And she said that used to be where their Canadian Women's Hockey League, like, entire office was, but just like kind of shoved in this little area, like a storage space. And now Toronto has, like, there's signs showing you where Toronto's head office is. And there's like 10 people in there. They're all making money. There was a dog wandering around. There's 3 cameras focused on their practice, taping their practice. They don't have to rush off the ice because somebody else is coming on. They get their meals. They get their travel. They don't have to carry their bags into the arena. Sarah Nurse does not have to take her bag on the elevator and air it out in her little apartment in King West. It's just all those little things that I think, as you said, that sort of crossover generation is appreciating so much, and probably more than a Taylor Heise that steps out of college and is very used to that kind of, because college sort of was the pro echelon before this. Not to take away from the PHF, but the PHF was definitely getting there in terms of home dressing rooms and all that. But when it started, women were getting dressed in tiny little dressing rooms, did not have their own stalls, those types of things. So yeah, it's just night and day. And the fact that it came together in such a short amount of time is pretty incredible too.
I want to ask you as well, another really key moment right at the start of opening night was obviously watching Jayna Hefford walk out with women's trailblazer and legend Billie Jean King. I mean, Jayna Hefford, who's I've had the pleasure of meeting her before, is maybe as composed a person as you'll ever meet. She was visibly emotional. It was a really, really incredible moment. And you were there to see that. Like, describe that for me, because the energy around that, it's something that, people that were there and people that watched will probably never forget.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Anytime Billie Jean King is in a room, it's just like, holy smokes, I can't believe I'm here too. And for Jayna, I mean, I remember interviewing her when she was playing in the CWHL and asking her, one of the fastest, most gifted players we'd ever seen, like, what do we need to do to get more eyeballs on this game? And she didn't know. It was sort of like, we have the product, we have the skill. It's just, we need the platform, right? And so to see her drop the puck and to help create that platform was really, really cool. And I don't want to take away from the CWHL, from the PHF, NWHL, all of those leagues were so key in getting to where women's hockey is today. I don't think women's hockey would be where it is today without all of those leagues and all those people that work tirelessly, a lot of them as volunteers. So that's a big thing too. But yeah, the opener and seeing Jayna and Billie Jean King dropping that puck, Jayna was emotional, and I know she had her 3 kids and her wife in the crowd, and she spoke to media a little bit before the game and just said, like, it's pretty incredible that her daughters will never know a world where there isn't professional women's hockey, where women can't be paid. And her son is going to grow up idolizing people like Taylor Heisey and, Grace Zumwinkle and Sarah Nurse. And she mentioned maybe he'll be in a boardroom one day and he'll want to see women in that boardroom. He'll expect to, because he will grow up knowing that, women have just as much of a shot as men do. So yeah, it was a powerful, powerful moment for sure.
I don't think you could sum it up much better than that, really. I mean, that's kind of the point here, I think. You mentioned the platform as well that they've been searching for so long, and they're taking advantage of unique platforms in terms of pro sports because they're streaming games on YouTube. They've got this great partnership with TSN and ESPN and, a lot of great partners that are showing the game, which, I mean, I think advocates for this for a long time were saying, like, this has got to be at least the bare minimum that they're made available to people. And they've kind of taken an interesting approach to marketing and engaging with fans that other pro leagues, you do not get that kind of grassroots effort from, which I think is something ultimately, and Kristina, I'm curious your opinion on it, I think ultimately it will help them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was talking to a bunch of friends about this. We all grew up playing hockey together, and we've never had a time like we do now where you can flip on the TV and women's hockey is just on, right? It's always been such like appointment viewing where it's like the Olympics, you're waiting 4 years, or to World Championships. Recently we've had the rivalry series, but it's never just been like, yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, you can watch women's hockey on TV. So that's just incredible that you can flip on your TV and find it. You can go on YouTube. It doesn't matter if you don't have, whatever streaming service that you need. Though you should probably have Sportsnet, I think. But yeah, just kidding. But yeah, you can get all those games are available. And the broadcasts, in my opinion, have been so good. Like, so good. I watched that Minnesota-Toronto game last night, and it was exceptional. And they know both teams. I don't see any homerism happening, although that would be fine too, But yeah, the availability of this league is what has set it apart from everything else. Like, the PHF had a pretty good thing going where you could watch most of their games on Twitter. But this is just like CBC, Sportsnet, and TSN all broadcast the first ever game. Like, that's incredible. You can watch it on YouTube. You got networks in the US, right? Like, the options for you to watch this. If you want to watch it, you can watch it, right? And that's such a big difference. I think that is going to help this league grow tremendously.
Yeah, I completely agree, and it's important, and it's been really, really entertaining. And before we let you go, Kristina, I want to ask you this. And my girlfriend played hockey; she played a long time. Obviously, grew up idolizing the Wickenheisers of the world and Jana Hefford and all those greats that we grew up with. You played, you got into this business because you love sports, but also because you love women's hockey too. I wonder for yourself, as somebody who played and is so passionate about this, being there on the first night and having this league come to fruition right before your eyes, on a personal level, like how significant has this been for you to experience?
Yeah, it's funny. I think because I was working, I kind of was able to disconnect, but I had friends in the stands and friends texting me about how emotional they were getting about it. And I think I just felt like immense pride too. And especially after the game, I'm a slow writer, so I was one of the last people to leave the building, and I saw Jana leaving the building with her whole family. And yeah, she just looked so happy, like exhausted. I can't imagine what the build up to that day was like when they had basically 4 or 5 months to plan an entire league. But so happy too, and she doesn't play anymore, but like, you got to know that Jana and Haley and Cassie would probably be loving to play in a league like this, right? This is what they have been waiting for. And it's so awesome that they worked so hard to make sure that this came to fruition for this current generation and next generations.
Absolutely. Well, it's been a lot of fun to see so far. Everybody's loving the success, and I just really hope that it continues and continues to build, because it's been a fun ride so far. Been a tough ride to get here, but it's been incredible, and the response has been so fun to watch, and I hope it continues. Kristina, I really appreciate you coming on. It's been a pleasure to chat with you, and everybody can follow you on Twitter and find your work pretty easily over at Sportsnet. You're one of the best out there, so keep up the great work, and thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, Clarkey and I, of course, we got to dole out the Conway Furniture Couch Potato Corner, the first one of the year. We'll do that next as Clarkey, we don't know what he has cooked up, but I will be saying goodbye to the greatest coach I've ever seen, Uncle Bill Belichick over in New England. That's coming up next here on Instigating. Back to wrap things up here on the first show of Instigating with Clarkey and Drury of 2024. Thanks to our guest, Jason Brooks, and of course, Kristina Rutherford from Sportsnet. We've covered a lot of bases here, and Clarkey, before we eventually get to everyone's favorite part of the show, of course, our Conway Furniture Couch Potatoes. Before we do that, speaking of covering bases, the Blue Jays had a little get together recently, during the holiday period. And, it was typical nonsense. I want to read Ross Atkins' statement on when he was questioned about what's missing from this team. And he said, quote, "The things I think we're missing aren't people. The things we're missing were our ability to support and help the players. We feel like we've worked to offset that, aka we rebooted the computers. And we've put ourselves in a much better position." What the hell does that mean, Ross?
That means I've done
people.
Nothing. There's done no nothing. DH. I've tried a bunch of things. Baseman. Nothing's worked. And I got to say something. So that's what I'm going to say. It was a joke. These guys, I tell you, I told you. They could have won me over if that plane had Ohtani in it, but it didn't. It didn't have him in it.
Well, it doesn't have.
What? This team is like, I don't even want to even.
It doesn't have Ohtani in it. It doesn't have Ballinger in it. It doesn't have another pitcher
Chapman.
In it. It doesn't have.
What's going on in the free agent? Like, there's still a lot of guys out there, and usually by now, guys are finding a home.
There's a bunch. Well, keep in mind, baseball is the cheapest owners of all time, so there's a bunch of guys out there that 12 of the teams outright won't pay for. So, especially if they're represented by Scott Boras, which, by the way, Matt Chapman is. He'll probably end up coming back, and he'll be a black hole at the plate and play elite level defense, and that'll be that. And it'll be the exact same Blue Jays team from last year, minus a couple guys, and they'll plug and play, and it'll be the same thing. A team that is completely on the shoulders of two young players who are redonkulously inconsistent at either side.
No, but that's what he's saying. They've put people in place to make these guys consistent and better, and they're going to hit 330.
They're going to use people. We've not put people in place. Remember, we don't need people.
Right.
It was our process.
The process, right? The process. But the process could include people who are already there. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not that.
Well,
it's not that they need more people or need new people. We have the people.
Not.
We just have to put the process in. They have to buy an iMac instead of a PC.
That's right. Yes. After 8 years, we're sure now that the process, 9 years, the process now we've got it figured out. Now we know what we're doing and why that plane didn't have Shohei on it. We're figuring this out. For God's sake, man.
Just give the championship to the Dodgers. It's over, eh? It's over.
They have to criminally investigate what they're up to, dude. Like, the sport is so broken. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That they've signed all these guys. The Teoscar Hernandez deal that they signed him to, they've deferred. They deferred like $8 million of it through like 2036. And Teoscar Hernandez, 1 year deal, $23.5 million with the Dodgers, which is a good ad. Of course, we know what he is. He's boomer.
He gets 20. How much? 20 what?
23.5 million.
23 million
is the total value of the deal. Now, that is for the 2024 season. They've deferred, I believe the number's $8.5 million of that to be paid out between 2030 and 2036.
If this team ever sells, the new owner's screwed. Actually, they're supposed to have this money in a bank. It's supposed to be in a bank account. From what I hear.
Look, I understand that.
How does Jordan Romano only get $7 million?
Dude,
he's going to be poor.
I don't know.
He only has $7 million. He's going to be like crying poor.
The pitcher, I look around though, and look, I'm fine with teams spending money. We get that baseball's about big spenders and paying into the luxury tax. I don't think it should be like baseball's got to look at this. Like, it's insane enough that they're spending on Shohei and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He's coming over. Cool.
Yeah. You know what I hate about talking baseball?
You know
what I hate about talking baseball?
Years.
I hate it because this show is called Instigating. And it's just so easy to agree with each other on everything because it's broken. The Jays suck. The management sucks. It's all about computers. Let's move on.
Well, we can't. Yeah. And the reason why is because neither of us can stomp on our integrity as broadcasters and go, no, Ross Atkins is
great. Look what he's done. Look at his track record.
Yeah, he's a muppet.
Great. How many playoff games has he won?
I have to tune it out. I can't watch him do press conferences when pitchers and catchers report in a month or two. I can't see him anymore. He disgusts me as a baseball executive because he isn't one. He's a spreadsheet executive, and I'm sick of Mr. Excel spreadsheet running.
Hey, but you know what?
They'll miss the playoffs this year.
The Skydome looks great, though. The Skydome looks great.
Thank God the Skydome looks great and more expensive, and the beers are going to be 22 instead of 18 now. Excellent. I'm so fired up. I will not go. And I'm calling it right now, Clarkey. They're missing the playoffs this year.
I don't think there's any question. This team could be in last place.
They're missing the playoffs. And I think that at best they finish ahead of the Red Sox, and that's it. They're not better than Baltimore. They're not better than the Yankees, and they're not better than the Rays, even though the Rays just sold off Tyler Glass now. But they'll find some other guy that they fleeced in some trade who's 22 that no one's ever heard of. They'll find him, and he'll replace Glass now because you know what the Rays do better than anybody? They scout. And the Jays can't even do that. They have all this Rogers money, can't scout. No one's coming. They're missing the playoffs. I guarantee it.
Well, we'll see how that process happens.
The process. Yeah, I can't wait to watch the process, brother. Exactly. Okay, let's quickly talk about the Raptors. We got to get our buddy Paul Jones on soon to talk about Darko Rajakovic. losing his mind the other day.
Rightfully so.
And I agreed. 23-2, the free throws for the Lakers in the fourth quarter of that game that the Raptors lost by a point. I'm dead. I swear to God, here's where the instigating comes. I swear to God, the NBA's rigged. And we've seen it before. They're the major sports league of the big four over here that have literally had referees investigated and found guilty of point shaving.
It's so easy to rig. That's the problem.
They are doing it again.
It's so easy
doing
to
it
rig.
again.
That's the problem. That's one reason.
And
I'm not a huge fan of the sport. I'll be honest with you, because I think it is rigged. I really do.
I think it is too. And I look, and it happened in the Celtics game the other night too. There is something going on. Adam Silver, you got a rat in the house, and you got to snuff it out. You got to set some traps and figure this out, dude.
It's so hard.
It's
embarrassing. So hard. I agree with you. What was the name of the ref who got caught? Long time ago. It was a lot easier. There wasn't all this internet like betting and app betting and everything. You had to actually go and make a bet, and that was easier to trace. Can't think of the guy's
a lot more
name.
Personal. Now it's completely impersonal, and you're just. I couldn't believe it anyway. But I liked Darko getting fired up there. He was
absolutely. We haven't heard about a fine yet, have we?
Yeah, he got fined.
He did. Okay, whatever.
Let me quickly call it up here because TSN, he got fined $25,000. He got fined $25,000. I thought he was going to get fined $100,000. I'll be honest. Like he put the flamethrower out there. Yeah, Tim Dowd. Yeah,
Donahue.
That was the guy. Yeah, Tim Donahue.
Yeah, thanks to our producer Adam,
who's listening on the ball,
contributing.
That's why producer Adam's the best. Look,
he is the best.
Did you think we were going to replace him?
He's the best producer instigating has ever had.
He's the guy. Yes, he is.
Right?
No question. Tim Donahue. There's a great documentary about that on Netflix, by the way. You should check out. All right, let's move on to our favorite. Let's feel good here, or potentially not. You never know how this segment's going to go. Right? Let's talk a little bit about our friends at Conway Furniture. That's Highway 86, east end of Listowel. And remember, when you go in there, maybe you want a new couch, new love seat, new floors. They got everything in there that you want to take care of inside your home. The price you see includes HST and delivery. So let's deliver our very first of 2024 couch potatoes of the week for this year. Clarkey, as always, I concede to you. What do we have on tap?
It's sort of like the shootout where I'm seeing like the home team always goes first. I'll never figure that out. Like I always wanted to shoot second and have that control. But home teams always choose to shoot first. I'm going to put someone in the couch today who I'm not going to mention his name. I'm not going to show him on TV because I believe he made a statement this week just for the publicity. That's all. And it was a Philadelphia Flyer reporter talking about the Cutter Gauthier situation, saying that he blames Kevin Hayes, 100% Kevin Hayes, for Cutter Gauthier wanting to be traded and not ever play a game with the Flyers. And I feel for this guy because if there's any fans in this league who will never let this go, if you thought the Islander fans were tough on John Tavares, Gauthier is never going to be able to go into the Flyers Spectrum. It's not called the Spectrum anymore, whatever it's called.
Wells Fargo, yeah.
That was a long time ago, the Spectrum. They're not even playing in that building anymore. But he's in tough the rest of his career. Now, it was okay for the Flyers when another young player named Eric Lindros decided he wasn't going to play for a team and actually played for the Flyers. But anyway, but my couch potato is the guy who did that. And I have a clip to play. And this is a rare clip where a guy who lots of times I don't agree with what he says, John Tortorella, actually went after the reporter in a scrum. Adam, roll it. Anyway, Torts, it was classic Torts, and good on him. Good on him.
I
Ryan.
liked it. I
Yep.
liked it.
Yep.
I liked it for the same reason I liked what Darko did for the Raptors. It's a coach standing up and saying, this is wrong. And he say what you want about Torts. And believe it or not, and I can confirm this through real sources, he is a player's coach.
Yeah.
Like he's hard on his guys. No doubt about that.
Yeah.
And he's got no problem calling people out. He will absolutely be in the trench with you.
Yeah. And he said it like it is with Kevin Hayes. They didn't get along and they moved on. But
anyway,
and the guy to make
happened.
that up, it's brutal. I'm not going to mention his name. We're not going to show his face because I think that's what he wanted.
We're not doing that. It's
that's
BS journalism. It's just stupid. And honestly, it's no different than what we saw in the rumor mill with Connor Bedard earlier this season. It's the same type of crap. It really is. It's TMZ level BS. And I hated it. Yeah. I really don't appreciate it. And, we'll see how things work out with Cutter Gauthier. Hey, Jamie Drysdale looked pretty darn good in a Flyers uniform in his first night.
Absolutely.
Got an assist, played really, really well. I watched that kid in the OHL. He's a hell of a player.
Yeah.
And Cutter Gauthier will be too. Cutter Gauthier, can
I just mention too, just speaking of Cutter Gauthier.
Yeah.
Can the Americans ever win with some grace? Like, honestly, I know they're a bunch of kids, but at the end of the day, the World Juniors just so smug when they're winning. It's just drives me crazy. Anyway, Canada has to have an inquiry because we lost. We didn't get a medal, so we'll see how things go.
That's not true. It just didn't go well. Whatever.
Exactly. It wasn't best.
Everybody forgets. Can I actually say
it's not best on best? Connor Bedard wasn't there.
A bunch of our guys that were age eligible,
absolutely.
Yes, could not
it's not
play.
Best on best. So whatever.
Listen,
go ahead, U.S. Congrats.
I want to say something quickly about that, kind of in the same vein of the journalism thing. I really, really need to, and I did it on the first OHL broadcast I was back on in the new year here, and I'll do it here. I really don't know who it is I'm addressing out there, but this is directed toward some of you that are seeing this. People need to calm down with the World Juniors, okay? We forgot, we
it's
won
the way of the world now, man. Social media has ruined everything.
What happened to Oliver Bonk, and just like what happened to Marc-Andre Fleury, and just like what happened to Max Comtois, what happened to Oliver Bonk after that goal went in off his foot, and then off another piece of equipment, and then off a post.
Very unfortunate.
What happened to that kid after that game it makes me sick. And I'm sick of this. Our country, you want to talk about the Americans can't win with grace? We can't lose with grace. Not some fans in this country.
But it's
worthy treatment
trolls.
Where the kid had to delete it or set his Instagram to private, couldn't keep it open anymore.
It's just people. I'm telling you, it's social media, man. I know I'm going to sound like an old guy, but it's disgusting.
I know. It is. It's social media, and it's the ability to hide behind a keyboard. It happened to me recently. It happened to me when that viral goal call went off that you showed on the show. 98% of the messages I got were incredible. There were some pretty nasty ones that I won't repeat here. What happened to that kid, far worse than whatever happened to me, is inexcusable. And there's some people out there that need some help.
Dude, we just talked about it with Connor Bedard.
It's unreal
what happened there.
What happened to that kid? And
I know, I agree. It's nuts.
I'm tired of it.
Nuts.
Permanent couch potatoes. Yeah. Permanent couch potatoes.
Absolutely, but it's never going to change because we're talking about it. Anyway. Yeah. All right, your turn, sir.
Yeah. All right. So in a more, I don't know to call this positive, but in a reflective sense, it is. Obviously, we're recording this on Thursday, January 11th, and it was made official today that Uncle Bill, Coach Belichick, is no longer the head coach or general manager of the New England Patriots. And I'm sad, man. It's the other big pillar, Brady's gone, and now Uncle Bill's gone. And he made a very... he had a very gracious press conference. There he is. Look at all those rings. Count them.
I told you it'd be mutual. I told you it'd be mutual.
6. How could it not be mutual? Look what
we had this discussion a month ago, and you said, no, he's going to get fired. I'm like, no, he's not. anyway.
And conversely, look at what the Patriots did for him. They gave him the opportunity. He acknowledged that. Mr. Kraft stood right next to him. Incredibly emotional for myself and the rest of Patriots Nation. No one will ever do it better. We will never, ever see a coach dominate the NFL like he did. Since the Patriots hired Bill Belichick in 2000, the other 31 NFL teams have used 162 head coaches in 224 separate coaching stints. And Bill Belichick, here are the numbers for you. 24 seasons, 9 Super Bowl appearances, 6 titles, count them, 266 120 regular season record, a 30-12 postseason record, averaged a Super Bowl appearance every 4 seasons. We will never see another. He only trails the great Donnie Shula in total wins. He says he's going to keep coaching. He's going to be coaching somewhere else.
Where do you think? Where do you think?
I think it. Well, if it's got to be. If you believe the rumors that Harbaugh is heading to San Diego, I have a funny feeling that Washington, who has some great defensive players, we know Uncle Bill loves defense. I have a funny feeling he'll land in Washington.
You got to think it's a team who's on the verge of winning, and
you would
those
think
teams
so.
don't usually have a vacancy. But I don't think he wants to coach a crappy team.
But then again, when he joined the Patriots, it's not like they were on the verge of winning anything.
I understand. It's a lot different now. The guy's a lot older now.
Well, hey, he got let go. #1 defense in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, get this guy a quarterback and let's figure it out. But ultimately, thank you, Coach. I mean, the greatest sports dynasty I will ever witness in my entire life. And I feel lucky I got to be a fan of that. Unbelievable. When they won the first 3, I thought, wow, that's pretty neat. You know, I was 13 or 14 when they won the third one and went, holy cow, that's pretty cool. And then in the middle, of my life in my 20s, they win 3 more. I can't.
Pretty impressive.
Who could even imagine having that level of success? Man, the duck boats were busy in Boston. Man, were they ever busy. And Uncle Bill riding off into the sunset.
Are you going to get emotional here now again, or are you good?
No.
Okay. Because it would make the show like a little bit better. We would have a nice little social.
If I was crying right now,
it would be way better show.
No, because
at least a good clip.
No, I'm very appreciative that he.
Okay.
Hey,
there you go.
No one will ever be better.
You can sit on the couch for a while, or you can get back up and get right back at him.
100%.
I heard him say he's not done.
He's not done. He'll be coaching somewhere, but Uncle Bill, know that forever there will be a comfy love seat just for you in Nantucket.
I loved his press conference the day, or maybe it was after the game, when people kept asking him about his future, and he just kept going, it was a good game. Defense played well. Like, just totally ignoring the questions. Happened 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, well, that's Bill. Dude.
Oh, I know. I know that's Bill. But
I want to concentrate on this team.
That's good.
We're on to Cincinnati. He's not a hard guy to impersonate, because all you have to do is completely drop your throat out. And just speak monotone. Bill Belichick's the easiest guy to impersonate ever.
I bet he would be a fun guy to hang out with, though.
See, that's just it, though. If you watch those NFL 100 show they did of the 100 greatest players, I think Rich Eisen hosted it with Collinsworth. He was on it with Brady, and he was fantastic. He's so outside of coaching.
That's what I mean.
He's like a very vibrant guy. If he wants, whenever he is done coaching, which he might be 80 by the time that happens, he could easily walk into a booth or onto an NFL panel. Because there you can't just go.
That might happen now anyway. We'll see.
We're on to Cincinnati. We're gonna concentrate on this team, and I'm gonna discuss my future with Mr. Kraft, and we're on to Cincinnati. It's Uncle Bill. On to Cincinnati is my favorite really quote of all time.
Adam, you get that ready. We're gonna use that as a clip.
We're on to Cincinnati. Anyway, I got to stop because I'll do it for the rest of the show. I'm on a roll now. All right. Listen, we appreciate everybody continuing.
I thought you had a clip.
Watch this show. I don't have a clip. I am the clip.
Adam said he had an audio clip.
No, I don't have an audio clip.
What was he like? Was he like
Uncle Bill? I gave you the clip. That was the clip.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I'm the
You
clip.
did it yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. I've been waiting for a clip.
It's
I'm
me.
like, what's the clip going to be?
No.
Anyway,
All
okay.
right.
Good show.
Yes, it was fun to be back. Like I said,
Oh, yeah,
we
Ryan had a
appreciate
photo.
everybody.
That's right. Adam's correcting me. Ryan had a photo, not a clip.
Not a
See,
clip. Okay?
My memory is not where it used to be.
That's okay,
Good.
dude.
Just really
we'll remember
short.
for you. We'll remember for you.
Yeah. Hey, Larry Hudson's, by the way, Larry Hudson's, if I could just mention, I don't know if Adam has the viz ready, but the deals are hot at Larry Hudson's, and 23 clear out is on now. We have some 23 SUVs that we are clearing out at a good price, and they are moving quickly. So if you want to come down, 1000 Wallace Avenue, there it is, 2023 new model clear out, big dealer discounts, some of your favorite models, finance rates from 1.99 on some 2023 models. So come on down to Larry Hudson, where
the deals are hot.
That's right. They are hot.
Do you want me to do it? Do you want me to do a Belichick one?
Oh yeah, do a Belichick.
Coach Belichick, what do you think about the deals at Larry Hudson's? Well, I've heard they're hot, and we're just gonna focus on the deals here. And Larry Hudson's, they're hot, so we're on to Cincinnati. Anyway, that's Coach Belichick on the deals at Larry Hudson's.
Why are they always off to Cincinnati?
I have to, because he said that the one year when they lost really bad that game, and then they went to Cincinnati and pumped them, and then they won the Super Bowl. Okay. That's what it is. You got to let me stop the show, because I'll keep doing it.
Okay, one final question.
Okay.
Are the Bills going to win the Super Bowl?
No.
Okay. That's it. I don't want any more. That's all I wanted. Will they win this weekend? Will they beat the Pirates? Steelers.
They could beat the Pirates too.
Yeah.
They'll beat the Steelers, and they'll go no further. That's my prediction. Okay.
Good. Thank you.
We appreciate our
Who wins then? Who
friends.
Wins?
The Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I actually think
the playoffs.
I think the Ravens are going to do it. I really do.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think the Ravens are going to do it against the Niners again. We appreciate our friends over at Conway Furniture. Remember, that's Highway 86 east end of Listowel, and the prices there, they include HST and delivery. We appreciate our friends at Larry Hudson, Chevrolet Buick GMC. The deals are hot. And of course, our friends over at Listowel Squash Court. Go become a member. Winter's the best time to play. Go in there, 24/7 facility. You got access. You can play squash whenever you want. Nice and warm in there. Good night. We appreciate everybody for... Yeah,
I haven't played.
You got to get over it.
You'd beat me right now, probably.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well, no,
we appreciate everybody continue to watch and support the show. Remember, you can watch the show Friday nights at 8, Sunday nights at 9 with our friends on Whiteman TV. That's channel 6 for Whiteman subscribers. And remember, you can find the podcast version on all the best podcast apps. We debut on our YouTube channel at 9 p.m. on Friday nights. Follow us on social media at Instigating Pod. I'm Ryan Drury. That's Clarkey. Thanks to our guests, Jason Brooks and Kristina Rutherford. We will be back next week. More Instigating in 2024. We'll see you then.